Texas is the biggest nanny state in the nation. While they're preaching about don't tread on me, the Republicans they've elected are consistently passing some of the most restrictive laws in the entire nation. Here are just a few of the laws that make Texas the most restrictive nanny state in the entire country. Senate Bill 8, passed in 2021, bans most abortions after 6 weeks before many women even know that they're pregnant and allows private citizens to sue anybody who aids or abets an abortion. There's also the trigger ban, which bans all abortions with no exceptions for rape or incest, only in life-threatening conditions. And restrictions on emergency contraceptives. Some Texas officials have sought to limit access to Plan B and IUDs. And they're banned on gender-reaffirming care for minors. Senate Bill 14, passed in 2023, criminalizes doctors providing gender-affirming treatment to minors. Targeting of drag performers in Senate Bill 12, which was passed in 2023, attempts to classify drag performances as, quote, sexually orientated and restrict them from public spaces, temporarily blocked by the courts, though. And the Texas school book bans, which targets books with LGBTQ plus themes, labeling them as sexually explicit. And the bathroom law attempts multiple efforts to restrict transgender people's bathrooms access. Some have failed, others have locally been enforced. And those scaredy cats have their don't say gay style bills, proposals that limit the discussion of genders and sexuality in the classroom. Senate Bill 1 in 2021 restricts mail-in voting, bans 24-hour and drive-through voting, and adds strict ID requirements. Their aggressive voter purges attempts to purge voter rolls disproportionately affecting Latino and Black voters. Plus, they've done a lot of redistricting. Maps are drawn to dilute minority voter power, and those have been challenged in the courts, but some have passed. And they've also restricted voter assistance. That's right, there are criminal penalties for assisting people with disabilities or language barriers in voting. And they have anti-critical race theory laws, Bill 3937 and Senate Bill 3, which limits how race, history, and systematic justice can be taught in public schools. Then there are bans on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Public universities are prohibited from funding DEI offices or requiring DEI statements. Texas also passed a ban on public employee speech in House Bill 900, attempts to regulate educators and librarians' speech and access to controversial materials. They've also had crackdowns on pro-Palestinian speech, laws requiring state contractors to pledge not to boycott Israel, though it is being challenged on First Amendment grounds. And we have Senate Bill 4, which passed in 2023, which allows state law enforcement to arrest people suspected of illegal entry, a power traditionally held by federal authorities only. And their state troopers have been targeting migrants. Operation Lone Star has led to racial profiling allegations and arrests of asylum seekers. And Texas has laws against sanctuary cities. Cities and police departments must cooperate with ICE or face penalties. Texas also has a permitless carry law. While some see this as freedoms, others argue that it limits the public's freedom to feel safe by removing training and vetting requirements. They also place limits on local gun control. State law preempts cities from enacting stronger gun regulations than the state allows. These protections are severely lacking. Texas hasn't adopted state-level protections for paid family leave, pay equity, or harassment prevention. There are obstacles to domestic violence protection. Restrictive funding and court backlogs limit access to restraining orders and shelters. Texas also has anti-protest laws. That's right, they've enhanced penalties for protesting near, quote, critical infrastructure like oil and gas pipelines. And then the arrest of Black Lives Matter protesters, which disproportionately enforced and prosecuted, often with excessive charges for people involved in protesting. Texas has a ban on mask mandates in schools. It prohibited, even during COVID-19 surges, limiting districts' ability to protect the public health. Texas also has censorship of curriculum. Teachers are penalized for teaching about structural racism or LGBTQ issues. And the state has a book removal and rating system, HB 900, gives political power over content of school libraries. There's also a ban on local fracking bans. That's right, cities cannot ban fracking, overriding local self-governance. And Texas has bans on climate ordinances. It prohibits cities from requiring clean energy or sustainable building codes. Texas also limited COVID-19 response. It banned all vaccine mandates and local mask mandates, restricting public health flexibility. And they have Christian-only religious displays. Some public institutions promote Christianity while restricting non-Christian expression. And Texas has restrictions on Muslim prisoners' rights, issues with access to religious texts, dietary accommodations, and religious services. And the state has no statewide minimum wage above federal. It blocks cities from setting higher minimum wages for employees. Texas also has a ban on mandatory water breaks for workers set in 2023. It preempts local ordinances that protect construction workers from extreme heat. And there's the social media law, House Bill 20, attempts to ban platforms from moderating conservative content, challenges for violating free speech and editorial discretion. And Texas also has student device surveillance. Schools are increasingly surveilling students' online behavior, raising Fourth Amendment concerns. And these are just some of the examples of why Texas is the most restrictive state in the entire nation.